What's going on, everybody? Lil Chris here with a fun little challenge I'd like you all to try. And be sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to announce a prize to go along with this challenge that you might be able to win. So do y'all remember the spot shot challenge where you start with the cue ball behind the head string, and you shoot a ball that's on the spot into either of the corner pockets and then try to get the cue ball back behind the head string and then see how many you can do in a row before you miss? Well, if you've seen my previous attempts at that challenge, you'll know that my personal best is 15. But during those attempts on the way up to 15, I couldn't help but notice that sometimes there'll be shots where I'll shoot a ball into the same pocket repeatedly until the cue ball is actually in a good position where I can try to transition it over to the other side. Well, that got me thinking, how many times can I do a spot shot into the same pocket and still keep the cue ball behind the head string? And so with that in mind, I present to you the Spot Shot One Pocket Challenge. So simply put, whatever side you want to start the cue ball on, then the opposite corner pocket is going to be the pocket that you try to shoot as many balls as you can without missing and then keeping the cue ball behind the head string. So y'all know that when I break, I always like to break from the left side of the table. So I also do the Spot Shot One Pocket Challenge from the left side of the table. So what I want to do here, though, is just show you a couple of strategies on how you can try to keep the cue ball on the same side and get it back behind the head string. And so simply put, if you set the cue ball here in a breaking spot, you can pretty much try to cut the one ball into the corner pocket with a touch of right spin and a lot of top spin. So that way when it hits the short rail, the outbound angle shortens itself up to pass the side pocket, catch the side rail, and then almost come back right back where it was. So you end up doing the same shot, which looks something like this. So obviously, if you're not careful and you don't use enough power, the cue ball will not come back behind the head string, and therefore you have to start over. Another strategy that you can try if you want to hit the cue ball a little bit harder is to put a little bit more right spin so that way you don't touch the side rail at all, but you'll come down and hit this short rail and then bounce back up and still stay behind the head string. That looks something like this. So obviously you see if you don't put enough right spin, you can scratch here in the corner pocket. And if you hit it too hard, you can still come off this short rail and then go past the head string, forcing you to start back over. So simply put, the easiest strategy would be to keep the cue ball near the side rail so that you're roughly doing the same shot over and over. But you should know that that's not always going to be the easiest thing to do because sometimes your cue ball is going to catch the side rail and then drift closer and closer towards the middle of the table. And when that starts to happen, you have to start using more right spin on the cue ball to ensure that the outbound angle off the short rail is shortened so much that you try to return the cue ball back over to the side rail. So with this example shot here, shooting from the corner of the box, I'm going to try to get the cue ball to return back over to the side rail with a lot of right spin and some top spin. So that's one way to do it. And now I can try to go back to doing the same shot over and over again and keeping the cue ball this close to the side rail. Now with this shot here, I want to show you that it is okay to catch the side rail above the side pocket, but that's just what causes the cue ball to get closer and closer to the middle of the table. But as long as you can get the cue ball still back behind the head string, it still counts as a point and you continue shooting. Now that's probably the worst position I can still end up in, but I still got the point. Now, besides being stuck on the head rail, because that is one of the hardest positions to recover from, the closer your cue ball starts to get towards the middle of the table, then it really starts to become more difficult to recover from and continue your run. But I do want to show you that it is possible to recover from a position like this so long as you use a lot of topspin and a lot of right spin and a bit more pace, because when the cue ball comes off the short rail, not only is the outbound angle going to be shortened, but the pace of the cue ball is going to drastically slow down. So you got to make sure that the cue ball does have enough pace to make it back here behind the head string. Now from this spot, it's a little bit more manageable in order to continue to run. So that's about all the strategies that I was able to come up with doing this challenge. So now let me show you what my best attempt is. Boy, this just gets worse and worse. Oh no, not hard enough. So there you have it, everybody. My personal best at the spot shot one pocket challenge is 9. And had I got that cue ball behind the head string, it might have been 10 or more. So now I'd like to see you give this challenge a try. So be sure to leave a link to your video in the comment section below. And to entice all of y'all to give this challenge a try, I'll be giving away to the person with the highest score this brand new Poison VX5 Silver Jump Break Cue. And if you all can remember, I have a couple of these that I've been wanting to give away through some challenges. So consider this to be the very first one. Now, in order to be a valid participant and win this cue, you have to be one of my subscribers. And you have to have your subscription list public. So when I look at your submission attempt, I can also see that I'm one of the channels that you're subscribed to. Now, the best camera angle to record from, because I don't think everybody has two cameras like I do, is most likely to be up high from behind you, so that way I can see the ball go in and see the cue ball get behind the head string. So try your best to not block the camera when the cue ball is returning behind the head string. Now, I'm going to run this challenge for about 2 weeks to give everybody a chance to discover this video and get their submission attempts in. So you have until July 23rd to get as many submission attempts as you want into the challenge, because you don't have to beat my personal score. You just have to have the highest score by the end of the challenge. And on July 24th, that's when I'll announce the winner. So if you like what you saw, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, get your cameras rolling, and let the challenge begin. Take care, everybody.